Why do we plan like superheroes but act like we're sloths? Most people think that they can't stick to the new habit because they're lazy or lack discipline. However, sometimes it has nothing to do with laziness, at least not in the way you think. The real reason comes down to one weird setting in your brain, and once you understand it, you can finally beat the system and start building habits that actually stick. Understanding it helped me to finally see results at the gym, it helped me to stay in the country after being an international student on a visa, and in general, keep on moving forward when it looked like everything is against me. Every time you choose couch and Netflix over the gym, you're not being irrational, you are just biased toward the present. Behavioral economists call this a hyperbolic discounting. It means that your brain values future rewards much less, even if the future rewards are larger. The time gap actually changes how rational we are. If I give you a choice, $50 in a year or $60 in a year and a week, most people will pick 60 because the time gap is too huge. It's some kind of hypothetical future and it doesn't make much difference. Wait for 1 year or for 1 year and a week. However, if I offer you $50 now or $60 in a week, most people will actually pick 50. Most people will think, why would I wait the whole week for just $10 if I can already see $50 served to me right now? Think of it like your brain is saying, I'll take the dopamine right now and I will let the future me deal with the consequences. So if our brains are literally wired to sabotage the future us like that, how in the world do we fight back? Most people will think that this is about willpower. However, it all comes down to designing the better systems. And if you watch further, you will find out exactly how to do that. So the first thing that you gotta do is start tiny. You may think, what's the point of the tiny step if it doesn't move me any further? Well, the point is that this first small step, even if it sounds insignificant, moves you towards the next step and allows you to start, while the big step can feel just too intimidating. The reality is that most people cannot start just because they're preparing to make a very big move, and this preparation can take days, months, and sometimes years, and chances are you will not start at all. For example, if committing to one full workout feels like a big step for you, what you can do is to promise yourself that you will come to the gym, do one exercise, and then you're free to go. And then what is most likely going to happen, just because you're already there, you may just end up doing the whole workout. And it's like that with everything. And you can have this problem in different areas of your life depending on your background. For example, I always wanted to start investing, but I kept on postponing it for years just because I was afraid of investing the large amount of money. And started small seemed like, that's going to be just insignificant. However, what I realized is that I have a fear of big purchases. Since childhood, I had the mindset that I must save, save, and save. So for me, it would work much better to just start small, just in order to get started. When you think that you should be starting, but you keep on postponing and postponing, start tiny, even if it may sound insignificant. Point 2 may sound like cheating, but believe me or not, it actually works. A lot of times, we avoid doing things just because in our head it's too much work. And oftentimes, too much thinking. What you gotta do is reduce friction. This is your opportunity to design your environment so that it works for you instead of working against you. Everyone knows about the option in the bank to make the automatic payments. So why wouldn't you apply this approach to other things in your life that's important for you? Now, you don't have to go to the extremes and build a mechanism that throws you out of bed every morning. However, you can start with, for example, just making things visible. It can be storing your gym clothes at the visible spot so that you keep on seeing them while passing by. It can be keeping the water bottle next to your laptop so that you end up drinking more water just because it's there. And an important part of that is also programming your actions. If you know that you should be hitting the gym, don't just say, I will work out next week. Say, I'm going to work out at 5 p.m. on Thursday. This way, the probability that you will actually do that is much larger. Believe me or not, those kind of small tweaks in your environment will create a big change over the period of time. I'm the person who really likes to keep my options open, but I also realize that it's only working for the things that I love and not for the other important things that maybe I don't love that much, but I have to do that in order to reach my goals. Now, even the most fun job or even your favorite activity will sometimes include the things that are just not that fun to do. And setting a specific time when you're going to do things in your calendar will drastically increase the chance that you're going to commit to that. Number 3 is to make the future you feel real. Here, it would be more natural to think how successful you're going to be, what you're going to achieve, and so on and so forth. However, what usually works much better is just imagining yourself in a year if you don't start today. The thing is that you need to get scared. This is because, in general, we are more wired to avoid pain than to strive for success. In other words, you need to tell yourself that future pain of regret will be much stronger if you just don't take action today. For example, if you just tell yourself that if I keep my healthy habits, in a year I will end up drastically overweight and unhappy with my life, this is going to be a much stronger trigger to actually do something about it. Coming back to my personal example, I told myself that if I won't do anything with my money right now, they will just keep on losing value. And all the hard work that I did in order to get this money will go down the drain. With such reminders, the pain of action actually becomes much smaller than the pain of the future regret. And this is not about being negative to yourself or pessimistic. This is just about wanting all the best for yourself. And finally, number 4 is get social. Sometimes the way is just too difficult when you try to walk it all alone. If you, for example, have struggles to get to the gym, find yourself a training partner or a friend who will actually commit to this workout with you. This way, you will create the social commitment and become much more likely to stick to this habit. Or for example, if you don't have any friends or people that you know that are interested in the same thing and have the same goals, remember that even if it's nice to have support from your friends, family, or people in your circle, it's absolutely not necessary. Watch the videos of people that are going through the same thing. Watch the videos of people who achieved results. Read the books that are targeted towards what you want to achieve. In other words, if you don't have the support system, create the system for yourself. If you want more videos like that, hit the like button and we'll see each other in the next one.